Good evening, campers, it's me, Kiro. Today we are going to talk about the second book in the Foundation series, and that is Foundation and Empire. And if you've missed it, I will leave the review for the first book, Foundation, down below for you to catch up on. First published in 1952, Foundation and Empire is very similar to the structure of Foundation. Whereas Foundation was a collection of 5 short stories, Foundation and Empire is 2 novellas. The General and, I can't wait to talk about it, The Mule. Mule. The Mule for me is the best part of Asimov's Foundation. I'm really glad that he finally turned up in Apple's Foundation. Season 2, Episode 2. We can't talk about The Mule yet. We have to go chronologically. We need to talk about The General. The General that follows Belrios on the planet Suena is classic Asimov to a fault. Hand-wavy world building and a lot of talking in rooms, with Asimov generally talking about his ideas rather than building characters. Again, everyone within the General, like in Foundation, almost feels the same. There's no richness, there's no depth, there's nothing really emotional that you can attach to these people. Asimov's prose work is known for its dry and clinical nature, and I don't think that helps in this matter. On the other hand, we have this concept of the Galactic Empire declining, and this is vitally important because it allows for the introduction of the Mule. Mule. Oh, let's get into the Mule, where Asimov's storytelling and how he's constructing a story, how he finally gives depth to characters, how he's able to get you to root for characters, finally begins to blossom. To recap, the grand narrative of Foundation is that Hari Seldon, via his theory of psychohistory, has foreseen the Galactic Empire crumbling, and through a series of Seldon crises, there might be a way to avert the basic destruction of everything. The first Foundation was sent in one direction to Terminus. The second Foundation was sent somewhere else on the opposite side. We don't really know much about them. Maybe the third book will unlock that for us. But as much as Hari Seldon believes in psychohistory and submits to the numbers and the data at his fingertips, there will always be an anomaly. There will always be something that you didn't expect, and that is the singular individual, the Mule. Mule single-handedly is upsetting the balance around the Foundation. He taps into and manipulates people's fears and emotions to bring them onto his side. The Mule being perceived as a new threat and possibly a Seldon crisis himself. The traders and the leaders of the Foundation bandy together in order to quell the Mule. Who the Mule is, we don't entirely know, and the novella is almost a whodunit, or who does it, or who is currently Mule. Asimov within the Mule shows the limitations of psychohistory. Everything so far has basically been bow down to Hari Seldon, his hologram will just tell us what to do and everything will be okay. But the hologram of Hari Seldon doesn't predict the Mule at all. He thinks that the problem is going to rise with the traders. The Foundation, given its independence of thought, is somewhat in turmoil, so now we're going to follow the motley crew of 4 people. Torren and Beta, who are citizens, Eblim is a psychologist, and a clown called Magnifico Giganticus. I would personally love to be a fly on the wall, watching Asimov crafted this groundbreaking piece of science fiction and somehow just goes, I need a clown. And because of Magnifico the clown, you know shenanigans are going to ensue, and ensue they do. The master manipulator and destructor, the Mule, must be found, and therefore we have a quite enticing read. Okay, so towards the end it can feel a little bit contrived and things just happen to go the way that it just needs to be. However, I think the last few pages definitely do justify some of the bland nature of Asimov's work. The Mule is integral to Foundation because within this story it underpins the 2 main themes, determinism and individualism. We as the reader begin to understand that the Foundation aren't as free as they thought. They don't have determinism, they don't have individualism, because they all submit and bow down to the holograph of Hari Seldon. They believe in psychohistory, so much so that they don't really know what to do on their own. The Mule is doing the exact same thing, but rather than being analytical like Seldon, he's emotive. While Foundation and Empire could be reduced down to a simple good versus evil story, Asimov changes the perspective. What is good and what is evil? What distinguishes and defines those characteristics, and how do you measure them? Foundation and Empire definitely is groundbreaking in its themes, and definitely groundbreaking for Asimov's writing. Sadly, it's not ground-shaking. Nevertheless, a vast improvement from the book prior, and that's why I would give Foundation and Empire a 5 out of 10.